I'd hedge a bet that you don't maintain your printers anywhere near the way you should because, well, I don't. And I do this for a living. Let's talk about printer maintenance, and we've got some of the most popular 3D printers here on the table, and we're gonna maintain them. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, Future Grant here. The Prusa is still on set, but I got some really awesome news. We just crossed 2,000 subscribers. I wanted to thank each and every one of you, our subscribers, personally, so much for supporting us in what we are doing and this crazy journey along YouTube. If you're watching this video and not subscribed, please make sure that you do. That's enough of the call to actions. Thank you so much for all of your support through all of this. I mean, geez, we started in March and it's October. So again, thank you. I'm so excited. Let's get back to the video. Enough of this. Right, Victoria? The clock. Let's take a look at maintaining a Prusa, a MK3S in this case. This one has not had the upgrades, the MK3S Plus, and as you might be able to see from our top-down camera or the front camera, it is, well, it's wearing some different badging. When we build these printers, we always buy them as kits. We actually make a few upgrades to these printers that make them a whole lot easier to service. Mostly a tensioner for the Y-axis, easy top-down view so you can make sure that your Z lead screws are looking good, and the easy ability to remove your Z lead screws by just pulling out a small plate and the whole thing can come straight out rather than having to turn the printer over. Basically, it makes life a lot better. To do this, first, let's turn it on. Now, as part of this whole process, we will also be updating the firmware on this machine. I believe it's running 3.8. I think we're at least 3.10 right now for Prusa, so we will be updating the firmware. Now, what we're first going to do is look at cleaning and lubricating the rails. There is a fair bit of gunk all over these rails. To clean off the rods, we're going to need a couple of tools, and they might be kind of obvious. We're going to need some paper towels, some alcohol, and lube, in that order. We're gonna put the lubricant off to the side. Brand new roll of paper towels, of course. Don't need much. We're going to come through, we're gonna put a little bit of alcohol on this. Now, if you do not have lubricant, do not do this. You will dry out your rails and you will potentially damage your bearings. Don't do this if you don't have lubricant handy. If you need some, we have links down below for the stuff that we use. It is actually sewing machine oil. But in a pinch, zero weight motor oil will also work. However, you will need to replace that regularly because it will go bad over time, where sewing machine oil, from what we can tell, is relatively stable. You can already see that we're getting a fair bit of gunk off these rails. We haven't even gotten to the real dirty part. The real part is over where the printer parks. Now, this is dust, this is dirt, this is hair. We're gonna get X-axis cleaned off. Wow, that moves so much better. Let's get the Y-axis. Now, the Y-axis on a Prusa is a bit tougher just because you can't easily get to all the rails. Now, the reason we're doing this with the power on is so that as we move the stepper motors, we're not backfeeding that current into its motherboard. Now, we are, but it's expecting us to do this, right? It's not, the motors aren't generators. It's dissipating that energy rather than potentially really shocking the system. Yeah, look at that. That is, I'm honestly a little embarrassed by this, but I wanted to do a maintenance video, so I said, let me pull a printer from the farm. And let's just see how bad it is. Spoiler alert, it's real bad. Now you might say, oh, my rails are clean. It's time to go back to printing. And probably you can get away with this. But here's a tip, don't do that. While you're doing this, don't forget about the Z-axis. It's probably in much better condition, but every little bit counts. And this does also include these lead screws here. cleaning them off, and there's not much on there, so I'm not too worried. You're not gonna be able to likely get all the way through it. That's all right. I can see a little bit of schmutz over here. It's more just kind of garbage around the printer. I am going to use compressed air. If you don't have an air compressor, go get canned air, use tweezers, pliers, whatever, but smoke them if you got them. There's a bunch of crap on this printer. Let's get it off. Safety squints. Oh, this one's gonna be rough. There's a bunch of stuff in these rails. Woo! Yahtzee! Wow, that really did go flying. And the other one? Feels like the crap landing on my work table. There goes the heatsink, which is not technically necessary, but we put them on there. It does help, in my opinion. We got some garbage here. Let's get the hot end blown out. Clean off the plate one more time. Bring this forward. These rails here. One more. All right. Of course, that would take considerably longer if you didn't have an air compressor. Now we've got the printer effectively cleaned off. We now want to look at getting it re-lubricated. Now there is still some dust and little bits of, like, this is all just like string from prints. It's not that big of a deal. We'll turn the printer around and we'll look at it, but I first want to get some sewing machine oil on the bearings so they don't dry out. Prusa recommends to use Super Lube. I've been using this for years. This is my preference. You can kind of use whatever you think is best. I put a little bit on either side of each bearing. This is not the bigger the gob, the better the job. A little dab will do you, and that'll be all right. We just want to make sure that we keep the balls inside of the bearings nice and wet. Same thing for the y-axis. We're going to put a little bit on there. Now, on one side of Prusa's, they have 2 ball bearings for the y-axis. The other side, they only have 1. Yes, that does mean that your bearings may not be perfectly lubricated on one side. So on the y-axis, I put just a little extra. Now, really the downside that can come of this is that over time, you could wear in on your rails. We actually have one of our Prusas that its top rail on the x-axis has a flat spot in it. It will eventually seize the bearings. Well, the bearings have already been damaged because they've ran into the rod and basically ground it down. So I don't really care if the whole darn thing goes. I'm gonna replace both at the same time. If you notice a flat spot on your bearings or on your smooth rods, you have the choice to change it right now. So if you need to do that, get that done now, get those parts on order. It should be relatively simple. Follow the instruction manual for Prusa for assembling it, just in reverse, and you should be all right. But for us, run it till it's broken. We've got spare parts already in the shop, so I'm not too worried about that. Now for the Z-axis, we're gonna have to move it up and down via the printer. We could move it manually, it's just not gonna run as well. So let's get a little bit of the good stuff on there. Same thing for the bottom. And a little bit on the Z. Now, this is not immediately necessary on the Prusa's lead screws because they use plastic or Delrin, I think they're Delrin, lead screw nuts. So we are going to go down, we're gonna go to the settings, move axis, move Z. Gonna move the Z up. I'm gonna let this thing just basically contact the top. It'll start to immediately skip, it's fine. But this really does distribute, everything through it. Okay, that's how we know we got to the top. All right, once we have it all the way up, we're gonna click Auto Home, and that's inside of the calibration window. And that's gonna go ahead and home this printer, and that will then move everything down. Now, I do see a little bit of schmutz on here. Hopefully I can get that clean before the printer comes all the way down. Same thing over there. Okay, beautiful. Go back up to main. I'm gonna send the Z-axis up one more time. And what we're gonna see is that it's also left us some stuff that was on the bearing wipers. So we can go ahead and pull that off. from both sides. Next step we're gonna do is we're going to check belt tension. Now, theoretically, your belts will stretch a little bit, but they should be all right. We wanna look for a reasonable amount of tension on everything. These do seem okay. However, let's go through how to do it nonetheless. You're gonna need some Allen keys. I have one of these little handy Allen key sorter things. I love it. We'll have links to that down below if you want to get one yourself, because then you always have the right Allen key in your hand, right? So to adjust this, we unscrew the 2 top screws on your x-axis and we'll loosen just barely one at the bottom. Just kind of crack it loose. Now we can see our motor is kind of free moving. So what we do is we use the screw up here. Let's see if I can get that on the top-down camera too. You can see it right through the hexagon. It's right there. This is the screw that we're going to tighten. Now, with the appropriate kit, this would be just fine. Me, I'm gonna tighten this by hand. So this belt is now too loose. We want to tighten it. Get out of here. I'm gonna pull this off just for the sake of this. If on the Prusa, you cannot get this belt tight enough to where you're happy, you must go to the back, pull off this cover, and then redo the top tension of both of these. That will be a lot of work. I will sit here and say if your belts are a little bit loose, it is better than screwing up your printer. So if you don't know how to do it, be safe about it. It's a smarter move as far as I'm concerned. For the y-axis, normally on a Prusa, you would tip it on its side and use this piece right here. This one, of course, is an aftermarket part. And as you can see, we have another aftermarket part right here. Let me get the top down, a good view of this. So there you go. For us, it is as easy as putting a Allen key in down underneath the screen, and we can go ahead and tighten it that way. This upgrade, in my opinion, is a necessary upgrade for an MK3S, because this enables you to do things faster. This does not hurt printing, it does not help printing, it helps you. I think that matters a lot. We've done these on this, I think this is our first MK3S. No, it's not, because our first MK3S has the silver power supply. It's an old MK3S. But you can see I am able to add or remove tension from the belt very, very easily. I'm gonna up the tension just a hair. And the cool thing is the Prusa can actually tell you reasonably how tight the belt is. Remember, over time, these belts will stretch. So if you have them a little tight when you assemble the printer, or maybe your printer's a little tight from factory, it's probably all right. We're also going to check, while we have the printer on its side, we're going to check the heat bed. On Prusas, they've got magnets all over the place. And let's pull off the spring steel sheet, which I still think to this day is one of the best sheets out there. We're gonna clean this in just a minute. We wanna verify that there's no foreign objects stuck to the magnets and that all the magnets are still where they belong. So I'm gonna flip the printer over because it's just gonna be easier for me. There we go. And I can see that all the magnets appear to still be epoxied in. Now I can see that this printer has had a replacement thermistor at one point in its life. Most of the MK3Ss that we have, this is a problem that they run into. Their bed thermistor over time will die, and that's because the cable being moved over and over and over again is damaging. I'm also now noticing that the printer is missing a foot. We are missing a foot on this side. Now that's not necessarily a big deal to us. Also, I am thoroughly impressed the printer is standing upside down on its own. This might be a really cool video to do a upside down 3D printer, but let me know if you want to see that down in the comments. But because we have our printers on foam, I'm not too concerned about this. What I'm going to do is remove this foot, if I can. Remove this foot, we'll put it off to the side, and if we find the other foot inside, then we'll put this foot back on. If not, then at least the back will be level with the front. If you are missing a foot for some reason, there are of course options available to you. You can buy more from Prusa, you can 3D print them, you know, there's options for that, or you can just ignore it. It's kind of up to you. We use Diversatech anti-vibration pads. I'll put a link to them down in the description for you. But we buy the 4x4 inch ones and we cut them into quarters and put one on each. It is like half the price of buying the 2x2 inch ones. And you're effectively getting the same thing for half the price. Yes, you gotta cut it. A bandsaw would be great. I use a sharp X-Acto knife and a cutting mat, and it gets the job done. But yeah, for this one, that's the thing that we're missing, so we're gonna make sure that it's even on both sides. You can also see we have a loose zip tie. This must have been from when we assembled it. That can, in fact, be clipped off. So there you go. Me making it a little bit better every single day. Something to note, without feet on this, you will end up putting strain on your wires, so be careful. If you don't have some sort of foam pad on the back, you're gonna have a bad time. Now that we verified that everything on the bottom side of the printer looks good, I'm gonna get this printer flipped over, we're gonna take a better look at it, and at the same time, I'm gonna flip you over into a segue from our sponsor, us, 3D Musketeers. If you are looking to get your ideas out of your head and into your hands with full art-to-part rapid prototyping and product development, you can reach out to us, 3D Musketeers. Links will be down in that description. And if you want to support us directly through Patreon so we can keep making awesome videos just like this, because we're going to be doing the same style of videos for both of these printers as well, please go over and support us. You can support us for as low as $1 a month, and you get access to extended videos and uncensored videos. So you hear me say things like fuck and shit and damn, although I guess we don't bleep that one out. So you can at least, you know, have it be a little more personal. There's also lots of extra tiers in there where you can get everything from sticker packs, including awesome stickers that I've, you know, perfectly placed in the video the entire time, as well as one-on-one video sessions with me where you can ask me whatever it is your little heart does so desire. And we are also hiring, so if you want to come work for a really awesome company, probably not get paid as much as you're probably worth because we're a small business, damn it, and this stuff's expensive. We need your help. We make cool shit, and you can make cool shit too. Hit us up, youtube@3dmusketeers.com. I'm a pretty awesome person to work with. The entire team will tell you that. You get to work from home, great benefits, which are zero, but you don't have to commute. And I feel like that's a pretty good benefit. And yes, you could make more money by going to work for Walmart, but then you'd have to work for Walmart. You can make awesome 3D printed stuff for us, with us. You can make awesome 3D printed stuff with us, and that's a lot of fun. Let's get back into fixing this printer. We can see from the top down that there is a little bit of plastic on the heat bed. And for a Prusa, I'm gonna go ahead and not only clean the heat bed, but I'm gonna clean the flex plate as well. You can do this with alcohol, you can do this with anything really. You wanna stay away from acetone. Do not use acetone here. You wanna check to see, do you have any exposed traces? Is it, you know, messing up in any way? These are all things that you wanna check when you're cleaning everything off. So I've got my flex plate here. I've got some divots on this side of the flex plate, so we'll check the other side. And yes, I know I just put fingerprints on it, so I just kind of like destroyed the clean, but you know, we're filming, so it's just kind of the way that it is. I see there's a little bit of plastic here. Go ahead and pull that off. You can actually see we pulled off a fair bit of gunk. Fair bit of gunk. If for some reason you have exposed traces on your board, now I've seen them. Oh, I do have one. Camera's not gonna pick it up. What you wanna do is you wanna get some clear nail polish and cover it up. So I've got one little trace here that is exposed. It just looks like a little shiny piece of copper. We'll look elsewhere. Now this is likely from the print bed sliding back. This is common and actually a pretty common failure mode of these printers. I'm gonna go get a little bit of clear nail polish. We're gonna get that cleaned up and move on to the next piece. Got our nail polish. This is a base and top coat. You don't need to have it on there very thick, and quite frankly, you don't want it to be very thick. But you do want to make sure that you cover the offending area and a little bit surrounding it. Now, of course, we are going to have to wait for this to dry. One coat should be enough for now, at least, but just keep an eye on those locations in the future. You can actually see the shiny spot. It'll take a couple of minutes to dry, but this is important because the last thing that you want is your bed arcing over during a print, because all these little lines, I don't know if either of the cameras are going to pick it up very well, but there are lines because this is a circuit board heater. And if you cross any traces on it, you're gonna have a bad time. The board's gonna short, and what's gonna happen is that its power draw is gonna go through the roof. When that occurs, it will likely destroy a print surface as well. If you're lucky, it's only one side. If you're unlucky, it's there for a while and actually burns through and heats things up, and it could actually kill your printer. So this is a very, very important thing to do. when you find those little issues, take care of them. This is kind of part of printer maintenance 101. Now on our Ender 3 V2 here, which of course will be coming in an upcoming video, it does not have this problem. The bed is a chunk of aluminum, which means that the heater is on the bottom. So you don't have to worry about that for this. What you do have to worry about on the Enders is the bed warping. That's a whole different story. While we're waiting for that to dry, we're gonna take a look at an upgrade that we did that I believe should actually come stock on these printers and does not. A heater sock. Heater socks don't have to cost a ton of money, but the first time they save your bacon, they pay for themselves. I want to take a look, make sure my heat block is still in good shape, or if it needs any help. Now this one's been on there for a while, so it is kind of crusty, but we have compressed air, so we can solve that problem pretty quickly. We can actually see there's a fair bit of stuff caked on the bottom of this extruder hot end block, so we're gonna try to break it off. Now this can happen for a variety of reasons, but generally it's because something will get past you. Now on the new E3D Revo, we'll card to that video so you guys can go take a look at it. This should not be a problem. But this is the original E3D V6 that came with this printer. Stock nozzle too. I wonder if this printer had a blob of doom at some point. It looks like it might have. Is it immediately necessary to do what I'm doing? No, it's actually not necessary whatsoever. However, I believe that a clean printer is a happy printer. And happy printers make good parts. Just like happy cows make good cheese, happy printers make good parts. We got quite a bit of schmoo off of that. Like, look at all that crap. Gonna get rid of that. See you later, nerd! I am also the nerd. Now that we got that done, we look at the silicone sock. The silicone sock is kind of nasty. This is not a real silicone sock. Ha, this is a clone. So this is just one of the generic silicone socks you can buy online. I've got some real E3D V6 ones. However, this one appears to be still in fine shape, so we're just gonna reuse it. The hardest thing about all of this is getting the dumb heater sock back on. They are tougher than they look. But this is good because it kind of gives you an idea. Is my hot end leaking? Is everything happy? Like, you know, I want to have a pulse as to how my printer feels. And because I can't ask it yet, how it feels, kind of have to do it this way. Sock is reinstalled. We can get the printer flipped back over again. One more time. Reinstall the heat sink. Now, this is not necessary. I've talked about that before. I believe that the colder the stepper motor, the happier it's going to be. And when you're running lots of printers for extended periods of time, it's just cheap insurance. That is cold and dry. I'm not gonna put it on top of it just yet. That's all right. We're also going to visually check for any frayed wires. Now, I've been doing this throughout the entire process. Forgot to tell you in the beginning, but if we don't see any frayed wires, we're basically good to go. We are gonna verify that the PINDA sensor, the bed probe, still works by putting a piece of metal near it. Light turns off, that means it's functional. We're good to go. We can go ahead and run a test print. Now, I have faith this printer is going to work, so we're not going to do the test print. Let's go ahead and preheat the printer. We're gonna remove the print bed for this just so we can see it a little bit better. We're gonna make sure that the printer still warms up, make sure that everything is still happy there, make sure the bed is nice and smooth, that there's no extra garbage on it before we replace the heat plate. And at the same time, we're gonna verify that that nail polish is fully cured. We are heating up as expected, so this is good news. By this point, that stuff is fully dry, so we can go and put this plate back on. There we go. Our plate is on. Everything is happy. As you're doing this, if there's any loose wires or any zip ties that need to be redone, go ahead and redo those at this time. But basically, you're ready to print once again. Your printer is clean. It is lubricated. All the beds are clean. Your extruder is clean. You've cleaned your heat block. You've done all of these things to make your printer happy and healthy. That's what we want to see. We don't want to have upset printers, because if you have an upset printer, you'll probably make it onto a Fail Friday. We'll card to that video as well. But I hope this has been helpful to you. Printer maintenance does not have to be scary. Look, I'm certainly not the most professional person on the planet. and I can do it, and that means you can too. But I think I did cover most of everything that you would need to do on one of these printers to make sure that it's running happy and healthy, because that's what we like to see for 3D printers. As for the firmware, it is a hand-holding walkthrough inside a Prusa slicer, so we're not going to show that to you unless you guys really want to see it. But this printer does need to be updated to the latest firmware, and that's totally fine. You can also verify that the extruder is working, and indeed it is. So I got out that little bit of filament. I do see that the extruder cover is wearing a little bit. We'll change that later. I'm not too concerned. This has been an awesome way to fix your printers. And at the same time, you can add some flair like Big Bird here, who's all nice and fluorescent yellow. Don't keep your printers boring. Have them have a bit of a personality, little googly eyes or something, you know, something fun. Anyways, what's your favorite printer upgrade? I want to know down in those comments as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video maintaining and keeping your Prusa Mark III's happy and healthy, because that's what we like to see on these machines. I had fun making it, but I'm certain that I likely missed something. Let me know down in those comments. 1, what is your maintenance schedule? How often do you maintain your printers? And 2, did I miss anything? And if so, what did I miss? We can always do a follow-up video to include that in the next one. Leave a like while you're down there, and if you're not subscribed, because over 75% of our viewers are not subscribed, please go ahead and get subscribed if you believe that we've earned it. If not, I'd love to know how we can earn your subscription. But anyways, stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones, and as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one. Beep boop. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video, and thank you to our patrons for making this video possible. Their names are right next to me, and if you want to get your name in our credits, make sure you head over to our Patreon, patreon.com/3dmusketeers, pledge at least $5 a month, and you can get your name in our credits. Right below me is going to be a video all about the Prusa automated farm system, which uses nothing like this printer to make awesome stuff. They're a little expensive at $3 grand a pop, but if you're a small business, they're a pretty awesome machine. And right next to it is gonna be our anatomy of a hot end, a video that as soon as the E3D Revo comes out, we're gonna have to refilm, and I'm excited for that. I will see you all down in the comments. I look forward to hearing your opinions on everything, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.